Whenever life gets you down, Mrs. Brown, and things seem hard or tough, and people are stupid, obnoxious, or daft, and you feel that you've had quite enough, just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving and revolving at 900 miles an hour. It's orbiting at 19 miles a second, so it's reckoned, the sun that is the source of all our power. Now the sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see are moving at 1,000,000 miles a day in the outer spiral arm at 40,000 miles an hour of the galaxy we call the Milky Way. Our galaxy itself contains 100 billion stars. It's 100,000 light years side to side. It bulges in the middle, 16,000 light years thick, but out by us it's just 3,000 light years wide. We're 30,000 light years from galactic central point. We go around every 200 million years. And our galaxy itself is what are millions of billions in this amazing and expanding universe. Our universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding in all of the directions it can whiz. As fast as it can go, at the speed of light, 12 million miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth. And pray that there's intelligent life somewhere out in space, 'cause there's bugger all down here on Earth. That's it, I'm done.
Fantastic.
Absolutely amazing.
I wasn't expecting to do the entire thing, but I was like, I kind of need to keep going. It's not the sort of song you can just stop halfway.
No, there's no natural stopping point.
No. There are verses, but it's like, it's gonna fall flat if I just stop after a verse. No, I need the whole thing. That was the Galaxy song from Monty Python, obviously. I've been saving that one for a while. So welcome to Button Mash Podcast. Michael is not here, which is why I'm singing. You have my singing talents once again to ruin music that you love. I'm joined by Will, and as you just heard, Alzorath makes a return.
Indeed.
This is your third appearance on the show, is it?
Third or fourth.
One of those two, yeah.
Not as much as Tulkas, more than some other people.
Yes. That's a nice happy average. Cool, so we're here to talk about video games, which is what we're going to talk about video games and video game accessories. We might be a little short because we're having difficulty getting the actual gaming releases because Steam is broken as we speak. So normally we would refer to the Steam release, do all the game releases in the second half of the show. That list just does not exist today. So unless anybody just wants to kind of guess at what games are going to be here, anybody just wants to speculate, but we'll deal with that when we get to it, I suppose. Let's talk about what we've been playing for last week.
Going to be Half-Life 3.
That's it. Half-Life 3 just launched and it just immediately broke Steam.
Yep.
That's the only explanation here.
It's the only thing that could do this.
Surprise launch on a Monday morning in the middle of May. The obvious time to launch that with no fanfare whatsoever. I would not. I would like
it
to
wouldn't surprise me.
I was going to say I'd
actually.
like to see Valve do something like that. Just like, oh yeah, it's released. It's like no big notification, no banner at front page of Steam. Just pop up in amongst like 50 point and click adventures and hidden object games.
Here's Half-Life 3, Team Fortress 3, and Dota 3.
And the twist is, they're all hidden object games.
No.
Valve
Find
just
the crowbar!
Yeah, there is always a find the crowbar. There is. There you go, that's it. Valve has spent the last several years working on hidden object games. That's the only explanation. Alrighty, Al, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Sky Saga, a little bit of City Skylines. Been doing a bunch of following of Kickstarter games like Portal Knots, and I believe it's called Light or something like that. I have it somewhere, but I couldn't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Tried out Sins of a Dark Age, wasn't impressed. Still, nothing will beat Dawn Gate as far as MOBAs for me.
All right.
And just random here and there kind of stuff.
Well, since I think we've probably all been playing, I think Sky Saga seems like the logical place to start things. So
yeah.
I was kind of late to the party. I was like, I had so much other stuff to do, and then I finally got into it. And now, just at every free moment, I'm kind of like, I've got time to do an adventure now. It's like this afternoon where I was like, I really should be putting together some show notes for the podcast. I was like, I'll just do a couple of desert adventures. It's fine. And then it's like, it's like 6 o'clock now. I should probably start drafting some notes here. Yeah, yeah, that would help.
I kind of haven't gotten back into it in any kind of big way. I poured a lot of work into it over the last since the VIP launched again, and now starting from nothing again, I don't really feel like it.
Well, that initial 2 weeks of VIP access.
Yeah, I
told you not to get too attached.
I did, and it ruined it for me. I came back and I made 2 swords and a pickaxe, which is what I usually do when I start these adventures, and I went out and I was like, I've done all this. Yeah, it looks a little bit better, but...
Is it useful having 2 swords?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I've just been using a sword and a torch, mainly.
You can... If you click both of them frantically, you can sometimes get a critical. Or if you jump, you can get a critical as well, and it does a lot more damage.
Yeah, I've been doing criticals with jumping. I didn't know that having 2 of them, actually.
Yeah, you kind of swing both swords together at the same time, and it just destroys everything.
Okay.
I almost feel like the VIP access and this are like almost 2 entirely separate alphas. I feel like it's almost like Alpha 4 and Alpha 5 at this point, though, because it just what we've got now feels really different to those 2 weeks that we had.
It does, actually, yeah, to be fair.
It seems like when we jumped into it, it's like, whoa, this is really, really difficult, because it's like enemies have loads and loads of health, you don't do that much damage to that health bar, and they're throwing so many enemies at you at once, it's like, it's crazy. And now it seems like they've almost pushed it back the opposite way.
They dialed it down a lot. I'm just now chewing through everything now.
Yeah, there's the same amount of enemies appear, but you just swing wildly with 2 swords and they just drop like flies. It's turning into some kind of dynasty warriors in there.
Yeah.
You're slaying entire armies, laying waste to hordes before you, and it's like, well, this has changed. Okay.
I kind of feel like there needs to be some middle ground with that. I don't like them to be too easy.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's honestly been feeling a lot like, they touted themselves as like a Minecraft MMO kind of ripoff, but the developer abandoned its pixel something.
You talking about Cube World?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cube World. I bought Cube World.
So did I. I tried it, and it's feeling a lot like it right now.
Well, hopefully not in the it stopped development and we haven't heard from the developer in 6 months kind of way.
No, just in the gameplay fashion.
Yeah.
The developers seem a bit more on top of things with this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a bigger team. I mean, Cube World was just like a husband and wife duo, wasn't it? And it's like their first game, and they're like, oh, they got all these grand plans, and it looks amazing, and it's got all this hype behind it, and they just haven't got any idea how to communicate what they're doing to a fan base because they've never had to deal with that before.
Oh, they outright said that they quit on it, didn't they?
Did they actually do that? I'd missed that.
I thought they did, and I thought they like came back later and said, oh no, we're working on it again, we're working on it.
I thought they just seemed to sort of drop off the radar and just give radio silence for like 6 to 9 months at a time. Because I was going through my Twitter subscriptions earlier today, and one of them was like, oh, I'm subscribed to this guy who's making Cube World, and like sort of going down the list passed over him, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he's had anything to say about Cube World, because he's obviously not been terribly forthcoming about details. I clicked on it, and it's like, yeah, last time he posted anything whatsoever about it was like best part of a year ago. It was like sometime last year, June, July-ish kind of time. So, yeah, not much communication on that score.
Yeah.
I've no idea. I'm kind of intrigued by that one. But I'm not sure if he's even... I don't feel like they've even announced anything to say, yes, it is or isn't happening. There is, obviously... There's a subreddit, there's the official website, if any of those are... Yeah, the website's just like, hey, buy the game.
Yeah, the website hasn't been updated in forever.
Yes, Wolfram von Funk, Wolle. Last tweet, new Cube World video showing quests June 30th, 2014. Very close to a year ago, yeah. So, did those quests ever get implemented, or was he just teasing stuff that was upcoming a year ago?
There were sort of random quests in it, but nothing really amazing to write home about.
I can't really remember what they entailed, to be quite honest.
Sky Saga definitely feels like something that's best with a group of people, though. I don't see myself playing it too long solo.
Yeah, from past experience, it's fairly easy to burn out on it, but I think certainly in Alpha 3, the amount of content was limited. There were only the 2 world types, and there weren't a lot of variety in them. But obviously, as they're going along, they're adding more and more and more stuff. I mean, I think even from the VIP access, from sort of what I'm calling Alpha 4 and Alpha 5, even though it's not, it feels like, again, there's a ton more new worlds. Because like, even in Alpha 4, we were like, I feel like we've probably had a look at most of the world types that exist, most of the actual adventures. And now it's like, oh, hey, there's still more stuff popping up. I mean, I found a mine world in a forest earlier, and it's like, I've never seen a mine in a forest before, I don't think. It's not drastically different to the ones in the snow worlds, but hey, I've never seen it in a forest, which is just interesting in and of itself.
Only one of the worlds that I've been to didn't have like a cave system to go through.
Yeah, they've all usually got some sort of cave system, just so you can go and get materials. Although the one thing I'm having real trouble is I can't find a cave system in a desert world that goes deep enough to get interesting ores. None of them ever go below iron level. I keep creating desert worlds with explicit intent of like, I'm going to go mining and try and find some sun steel. I want lots of sun steel to go craft things out of that. Or at least just so I've got some, store of it. Nope, can't find any.
Have you not
So
done
far, I've
the
only
corrupted
gotten
hive?
Forest Worlds.
Sorry, one of you, one at a time.
Go on, Al.
I've really only ever found the Forest World so far.
All right.
I don't know how to get to the Desert World.
Well, in the forest worlds, you should be able... I mean, it's not necessarily immediately obvious, because it threw me and Will until someone commented on one of my videos and told me how to do this. The keystone recipe works for any color of keystone, so if you go into the forest worlds and go mining, and you can find some white keystone fragments and yellow keystone fragments, which you will find in caves, you can then use those in the keystone recipe, and you'll make the desert worlds or snow worlds out of them. Or you might...
So far, I have only found green.
Oh, fair enough. You might also find them in
like
chests
4
and
worlds.
things. Yeah, you sometimes get stuff in chests as well. You can like the big loot chest at the end of an adventure, you can open it and be like, ta-da, here's just a keystone to a specific adventure. It'll say, oh, here's the Corrupted Hive adventure, here's the Sun-Forged Castle or whatever, I don't know. I can't remember any of the names, but there's a bunch of different specific instances that you could, like, this keystone will take you to this instance, is how it works.
I like the size of the instances. They're just the right size, too, though, so... I actually do appreciate that.
The basic ones are kind of dinky, but medium's a good size.
I find if you really get into the caves, you can create quite a long adventure.
Oh god, yes.
Yeah.
Even just the short caves, I've gotten into like hour-long mission romps, just gathering resources. Broke a pick.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. It's not like Minecraft where it's like, oh, I'll just make one here now. It's like, no, it's a mission to make a new pick. You don't want to run out of a pick.
Yeah, that's why usually first thing whenever I pop down into world, I go for like a sharpened stone and piece of wood, just so I have it on me.
Right. Yeah.
So I can use that to mine.
I imagine you could at least, well, sharpened rocks are pretty abundant, and most things in the game you could usually find some wood almost anywhere. So I wouldn't think that's too big a deal. And then, I don't know, I'm trying to think how difficult it would actually be to make something. I guess I guess if you had some stone on you, you could make a forge reasonably easily. And then from there you'd need to make, well, a crafting bench now involves bolts, so you'd have to smelt up bolts and things. Yeah, it's a bit of a faff.
Good luck doing that in a snowy level, because all the rock you'd expect there to be would be ice. Oh,
that's true, right, yes, there's that as well.
I can't wait to find a snowy level now.
They've actually, the temperature mechanics, they seem to have put them, it seems to be kind of a mix of the old and new mechanics.
Yeah.
Well, you actually do freeze to death and overheat in the desert now.
But not too quickly.
I don't know, in the desert, you heat up pretty fast.
Yeah.
I found myself overheating on a few occasions in the desert. It's just that you just heat up
mechanic.
Well, you're supposed to like stand in the shade to keep the sun off you to stay cool, but it's in the middle of a big open desert. There's not nearly as many shadows as you might like to take shelter in. Standing in water cools you down really quickly. I did find that out, which is nice, because I did find there was one world had like an oasis in it. Which was,
brilliant.
Which is what I always said, is like, there really should be some oases in here.
Yeah.
And there's one that's just this big pool of water that had like bulrushes and lily pads and things in it. It was like, this is what I need.
Is there any way to get water in your starting area? By any chance?
Not that I'm aware of at present. There may well be in the future, but not right now. There's not. You can't just take a bucket of water and stuff, Minecraft style. Not right now.
Because
no.
it really does limit what you can do with that starting area. Feeling that's what they're trying to like go for. Is basically the customization of your home place so your friends can visit it, kind of thing.
Yeah. I also feel like they've made that considerably more difficult, just insofar as it's now really, really difficult to get furniture recipes. Previously, they dropped left, right, and centre from... If you went and did a world, chances are you're going to come out of it with furniture recipes. They weren't too hard to come by at all. But at the same time, you also had to grind a lot of levels in various different skills to be able to use the recipes. So there's kind of a lot of work to get access to them. Now you can just use them, but they're all really super rare and or expensive. So
God,
like,
the costs have really gone up in the market as well.
Yeah. Also, yeah, the recipes which were previously like, oh, maybe they're 5, 10, 15,000 knots. Now they're like, oh, it's 30, 40, 50,000 knots. And it's like, geez.
Yeah, I mean, it really put me off collecting knots just to get new recipes.
I mean, I haven't really delved into the hard level content yet, so I don't know how much the money scales. I know in the easy worlds you got almost no money at all whatsoever. It's just nothing. In the medium worlds, it's like about the same as it used to be, I think. In
my experience, the harder levels yield less money, quite a lot less.
Really?
Yeah. It's not as much to smash. They generally, like the Nightfall Fortress, it's not much around that area. It is just the fortress and the boxes in it, and there's not a lot of chests in one fortress.
Huh, okay.
So you're looking at less than 1,000 knots, and from my average adventures, I'm getting around 1,500 knots per normal level.
Yeah, I did find a chest earlier that had 600 or something, and it was like, oh, I'm glad those are still in the game. Because it was the first one I found. I was starting to get dubious that they'd removed those 600 chests, and I was like, do I have to find all the money, like, at most 150 at a time now? No, mercifully there are still 600s, which are nice to find.
Yeah, I was very worried when I reopened it on the relaunch of Alpha 4, and then I found 2 consecutive 150s. So, like, is that all there's going to be in these chests from now on? But thankfully not.
There still needs to be a lot more. I mean, that Falchion recipe, which you spent so long saving up for in the VIP session, it was, what was it, 18,000, was it, for that before? I
believe it was, yeah.
It's now 50,000.
I know, that's horrible. Oh no, it was 30,000 because it was from the specialist vendor.
Oh, was it?
It was a really expensive one, but still, it's gone up by 20,000 knots.
That's still a good chunk, yes.
And that's a lot of grinding.
Yeah, and then, like, say, all your furniture recipes are also in the same kind of ballpark, and it's like, really, just to be able to make, like, a chunk of detailing to go on my ceiling, or a table of some sort.
Definitely needs more balance.
Yeah, those numbers need some tweaks, definitely.
Decorative stuff, I feel, should be a little bit cheaper than it is now.
If they're encouraging people to build interesting things, yeah, because it's really just kind of preventing anybody from having access to being able to do that. It's just way out of anybody's reach. It's like, I literally cannot afford to be creative in this game.
It takes too much time.
Yeah. It was a shame, because I mean, it's actually generating me an entirely different homeworld to what I normally have had in the past. Normally I've gone with the forest one, and it's your standard, forest base, whatever. Not a million miles. I did visit Will's desert base, and I think you just kind of got a desert equivalent of the old one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got this huge kind of pyramid structure with a giant sword stuck in the top of it. It's really cool, yeah.
What? How? Why?
It just gave me that was my starting homeworld.
Oh my god. I just got a lump of sand.
Yeah, that's one reason I'm not a big fan of...
Well, you were bragging about the lizards and things, and I was like, well, yeah, but I got a giant sword in my temple now.
I have desert foxes.
Yeah.
I like desert foxes.
The desert foxes are adorable. I have noticed. I have noticed on the screenshot things where it's doing which picture is cooler. There are so many people, myself included as well. They're just taking pictures of sleeping foxes because they are goddamn adorable.
Yeah.
It's like, oh look, it's so cute. Take a picture. I'm interested to know what they drop, but I can't bring myself to kill one.
Pelts.
Red belts.
I'm sorry, I was really stone cold. Yes, I've murdered the little foxes.
Aw.
They drop pelts.
I've murdered them multiple times as well. They respawn.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
No, they're too cute to be murdered. No.
The snowy worlds yield ice foxes as well, and they're again very, very cute.
Can also advise as far as getting interesting rare minerals goes. I found, oh man, which level was it now? I found a world last night, which was... It had a boss room that spawned 2 barbarians in it at a time. And the barbarians pretty much had, like, close to 100% drop rate on Marks of the Mountain.
Oh, brilliant.
So I was just, like, fighting them off. And the barbarians are not that tough. They're not as bad as the warlords as bosses go. So you can kill them pretty comfortably. So I was just like, murder, murder, murder. Murder one, murder the other, walk out the room, walk back in, murder them both again because they both respawn because of the high spawn rates now. And I was farming Marks of the Mountain. It's like, hey, now I've got quite a lot of Abyssium ore now. This is cool.
Brilliant.
That's like quite a lot. I mean, I've got 24, but hey.
Not enough to make armor yet. It'll take a lot to make armor.
That would be enough to... Actually, no, I don't think you need that much. That would make 6 plates, and 6 plates would make some chunks of armor. So I basically... Yeah, 6 plates would make me some armor, or it would make me a sword or a pickaxe, I think. And now I'm kind of kicking myself because I can't actually remember specifically what instance that was. It may have been a mine.
I could say I've not come across that yet.
I think it was one of the snowy mine levels. Cause I went down to the depths and then just kind of walked out, wandered around the mine a bit, came back in. Hey, 2 more barbarians, kill them again. So yeah, that was pretty lucrative. I'm still not sure what gives the scarletite. Is it whatever the red ore is? Crimsonite.
Crimson. Yeah, crimsonite.
Crimsonite. Yeah, no, scarletite's something from Final Fantasy. Yeah, Crimsonite. I don't know what that dropped, because I thought it was the other things that the bosses dropped. If you dismantled them, you got the Crimsonite.
I'm pretty sure that's still an ore you can mine. I think I came across a tiny bit of it the other day.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. I can't remember where though.
Someone told me it was from dismantling things. So I got like the Firewolf heart thing, and had a look at what you got if you dismantle that. What it gives you is a red gem, and it's like the red gem is.
What?
I don't know. The red gem is like the color coding for the sort of how rare is this thing. It is like one of the rarest items in the game, apparently.
So you can use that to make a dagger.
If I had a dagger recipe, yeah, you better believe me. You better believe it. I will tip my dagger in the heart of a firewolf. And I'll probably craft the blade out of Abyssium if I have any say in the matter.
Oh, I think you can make falchions with gems as well.
All right, so you could put the gems in the falchion.
Yeah,
cool.
that would be cool. Yeah, I'd like that.
But yeah, the firewolves don't have 100% drop rate on that, so you got to farm a few of them. Admittedly, they're not hard to fight at all. They're super easy to just cheese because they only attack in a line directly in front of them, and their swing is pretty slow. So as long as you just keep circle strafing around them, they just don't hit you at all, and you can just sort of lay into the side of them.
It's very much like the corrupted hive boss.
Oh, right.
I don't think that even hit me once.
I haven't fought that yet, so I need to check that out at some point. So also the Emberwolf lairs are actually really good for getting dark hearts as well, for making the dark levels. Because I just wandered back and forth through the dungeon a bunch of times, and it's just like, hey, Emberwolves are spawning, hey, more spawning. They're not terribly hard to kill. They're elite mobs, but hey, given that everything's pretty easy now, they're still not hard to kill. And yeah, they've got a pretty decent drop rate on Dark Hearts, so I just stacked up like 8 of those just by wandering back and forth through the dungeon. So yes, Emberwolf lairs for Dark Hearts and Snowy Mines for Assuming you get the same boss, I guess the Snowy Mines for making your Abyssium. I think is my recommendations there.
I'd be interested to make a few things out of Abyssium. I think I've maybe got one mark of the mountain.
Yeah,
is that the equivalent of 3 ore?
It is, yeah, that'll get you 3 ore, which is not enough to smelt into anything at all whatsoever.
No.
Gonna need at least 9, I guess, in order to start making plates. I don't know, I can't remember the quantities, but yeah.
9 sounds about right.
So yeah, I want to make something out of Abyssium, but I still really want a dagger recipe, for the love of God. This frickin' game will not let me have a dagger. At all. It hasn't even dropped any iron daggers. I haven't got... Previously, where I could at least get a few off of the enemies, they dropped daggers. I haven't even seen any of those drop now. It's just like, oh, hey, you found a way to get daggers? Let us just take that away from you. It's like, no, I want my dagger back, for the love of God. That was such a fun weapon. It was too fun. You're not allowed to use the fun weapons. One of the warlords, I think, did drop a halberd though, so I have an iron halberd.
Oh no, that's cool.
Not that I particularly like the halberd as a weapon, but I got it.
It's too slow and not enough damage.
Yeah.
Well,
unless
they've
tweaked it, I suppose we need to check and see if they've tweaked it.
I guess if you can afford 50,000 knots. Is it not 50,000 knots now?
What, for a halberd?
Oh, you've got one, obviously. Yeah,
I've got one. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to pay anything. A 1 dropped for me, saving me 50,000.
Yeah.
Also, I don't even recall seeing is there actually a halberd recipe for sale? I don't recall seeing one.
There'll probably be one day when it recycles itself.
Yeah, it probably will be 50,000, to be fair.
I've so far only seen the battle axe. I haven't really been looking around.
I saw the falchion, which was obviously 50,000.
Oh,
but
yeah, and that as well.
I can't recall what else I've seen. Hey ho, that's I'm going to sink a lot more time into that. Like I say, I want to do some building, but I don't know how viable it is. Nonetheless, I shall keep playing.
I think I'll just slow down on it a little bit, considering everything's so unaffordable. Not sure how much time I want to spend in it.
I feel like they're making it so you have to spend a lot of time in it to be able to
do
anything.
But I already spent a lot of time in it.
Alright.
It just feels like you have to sink so much bloody time just to even get the basic stuff. I mean, it took me most of a day to build the bridge how I wanted on my island.
Right. Well, that's... What are you trying to build it out of? Just trying to get the right materials for it? Okay. For woods, best bet I found is just dismantling other houses and things. Rather than trying to get it from trees or anything, just take it from other houses.
Oh, that was a good thing. Stuff drops proper stuff again.
Like that's true.
I like that.
Things don't just break. They actually have loot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've found as far as wood goes, I've found quite a lot of different exotic woods. Rather than just, I mean, from trees, you've just literally got ground wood and bleach wood, and it's a slow way to get some. Oh, and then you've got the roots that make king wood, yeah. But from houses, there's quite a lot of interesting and exotic woods used to make houses, and 1 block of wood can be dismantled into 5 planks as well. And then each of those different planks then makes different coloured torches as well. So I've got rainbows of torches now. And the black wood makes a black torch which does not emit any light, and I don't understand how that works.
Someone's just having a laugh there.
It does emit light, but so little as to be worthless. I was like, I wonder what this does. It's like, oh, I actually can't see anything. I have fire in my hand and I can't see anything.
Maybe it would be like a really good mechanic to just suck light away from an area so enemies can't see you. So you could be really stealthy in plain sight.
But enemies can see you in the darkness regardless.
I know, but if they just changed that mechanic just a little bit.
It might be more useful in PvP.
Maybe. Just create a shroud around yourself.
Just plunge
just
the flag.
Aim for the middle of the shadow.
Capture the flag, just plunge the flag room into pitch black. Like, I can't see where the flag is.
Sky Saga Rogues.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's what I want to do with the daggers. I want to go rogue.
Exactly.
I need some stealth mechanics in
I
here.
found one dagger, and that's just off of an enemy.
Is it a crude dagger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found a few of those. It's like I don't want to use them. They're not good daggers. They won't do much.
They don't break.
Well, I suppose that's what they got going from, but I want an actual dagger that's actually pretty and stabs things nastily. Anywho.
It has turned into the Sky Saga podcast.
It has, kind of. Has anyone played anything else?
I played Sins of a Dark Age. I wasn't too super impressed by it, though.
Which is the MOBA thingy, yeah?
Yeah, it's
That's right.
basically just LOL.
Okay.
It's League of Legends in a different wrapper. They didn't do anything really interesting with the characters, so I'm kind of disappointed in it. Whereas things like Dawngate, and the reason why I mentioned that one so much is they actually had unique character mechanics. Character that could piggyback on other characters and stuff like that. It's interesting.
Yeah, Dawngate always sounded interesting. I wish I had actually got into it. That's the one that sort of shut down a while back, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Which is a shame, because it was like,
Yeah.
I kept seeing adverts for it, and I was like, this always sounds really interesting. I should really get into that one day. And then never did, and then it was like, oh yeah, Dawngate's closing down. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I waited too long.
Yeah, it was a good game. Wish I would have done more in it. But Electronic Arts said it's not turning enough of a profit, so goodbye. But
Right.
EA, you ruin everything good.
Yeah, I like the ideas of MOBAs, but I'm kind of put off by everything I hear about the communities and stuff, and just the sheer amount of time you need to invest in it to do anything interesting in it. I'm like, I don't think I've got the time or patience or want to deal with those people.
I can deal with them, it's just the companies tend to either be greedy as hell, not very creative, because if League of Legends does it better, League of Legends is actually a fairly, fair model. Whereas they're either greedy or they shut down.
Yeah, I mean, the one I keep coming back to from time to time is Awesome Noughts, because like that's really different. It's really simple and easy to pick up, so that's great. And then the community is actually really pretty good as well, as far as they go.
Yeah, the community
that
for
works for
Awesome
me.
Noughts is good.
And then they're pretty short games as well, so it's not like you've got to invest an hour of your life into, being slowly destroyed by a team that's better than you. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we lost, or oh, we won, there we go. So I'm kind of okay with that. Awesome Noughts works very well for me. Also, back in the day, I was really into Super Monday Night Combat, and that one shut down. So actually, I tell a lie. I say that shut down. It's still around. There's only about 10 players, but it's still around. Technically, the servers are still up. You can still find a game, but it will be the same people playing in every match. And they have sunk many thousands of hours into it, and they will be better than you.
Sounds about right.
I did get an email earlier this week about someone who made something. I can't remember what it was called now. Someone sent the concept they pitched me was it sounded really like Super Monday Night Combat. It was like, oh hey, we've done this MOBA thing, but we want to incorporate shooter mechanics into it. And then I looked at the screenshots, and it's got this kind of futuristic sort of blood sports kind of thing going on. Big stadium arenas, thousands of people watching people fighting it out below in the arena below. And it's like, you just made Monday Night Combat, didn't you? I was like, I'm okay with this. I need to check this out, so I'm going to have to get into that in the near future. I'm going to have to remember what it was called first. So there's that.
There hasn't been too much interesting stuff coming out. I believe Magicka 2 came out, or is coming out soon.
I think it's coming out soon. I don't think it's out yet.
I think it's out well, it'd be today when you're releasing this, isn't it? 26th.
We released on the Tuesday, so yes. Release date May 26th. It will be out today at time of watching the video.
Then I will be playing it today.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I've already pre-purchased it.
I'm contemplating picking it up after release. I'm kind of intrigued by it, but at the same time, the original Magicka, I liked it, but it didn't really do a whole lot for me.
I think I'm in the same camp, yeah. I played it and I was like, I can see why this appeals, but I think for starters I was just way too late to the party and didn't play it with anybody. So I was like, I can absolutely see the appeal of playing this with other people. But,
oh yeah, definitely.
But I didn't play it with anybody else. And I was like, well, this would be cool, but it's just it's a good but not incredible game.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was sitting on it too. Same kind of goes for like the original Forest and stuff like that. It'd be more fun if there were people still playing it.
Well, Magicka has been on sale God knows how many times. I feel like if you wanted to, you could probably find a group to play that. I feel like there'd still be people doing Magicka. They keep putting it on sale with all the DLC. It's like Magicka and 500 pieces of DLC for like $1 or something. So...
Well, I imagine most of those people will now be playing Magicka too.
Well, maybe, but at the same time, that's probably how I got it in the first place as well. And then it was like, well, too little, too late, I suppose. I don't know. I'm finding it hard to muster up the enthusiasm for it. It's like, like I say, it's like even though I know it's really good with friends, I'd still like, and I know people who are buying it, and I could and should play it with them. A little bit of me still kind of, because I was so lukewarm on the original, I'm not enthused to play the sequel. Kind of a strange situation. It's like, I know it's going to be good, but I'm not interested in playing it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't explain it very well.
I've never found many people to play this with, but when I have, it's very fun. So I may struggle to find more people to play it with, but I am determined.
The question is it a game that's better because the people you're playing it with, or is it better because the actual game? One of the situations I run it. Because I think it really is... If you're with a bad group, it's going to just be a bad game, but if you're with a good group, it's going to be like game of the kind of situation.
Yeah. I imagine that's how it works, because you want people to be able to cooperate, but you also want people to have a laugh when they blow each other up. Because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Very frequently, if I'm the one.
Yeah, you don't want this to be like competitive, like, oh, you exploded me. But no.
Well, don't play with randoms on the internet, I guess. Is there an option for playing with randoms on the internet?
Can't recall.
On the original one, I don't think so, unless there's like a PvP option.
Right. Oh. Yeah, there was some PvP stuff, because I think when I picked it up, it was like they were doing some PvP pro, and I jumped into it, and I think I played the PvP before the main game, and I was like, oh, is this what this is? This does not seem very good, and I didn't enjoy it, and that put me off even further as well.
Is there a Magicka MOBA as well? Like Wizard Wars or something like that?
Oh, that's a mobile one, isn't it, if memory serves? Is that not a free-to-play mobile thing? I can't remember what the concept of it is.
I don't think it was mobile.
Was it not?
I was thinking about trying that one as well, but
I need to find out what this is. Magicka Wizard Wars. I thought it was on like tablets. I know they did do it on Steam as well, I'm pretty sure, but I guess actually, yeah, looking at screenshots, it does look kind of MOBA-ish. Okay, interesting. I don't know. I'm sure I watched like I think Total Biscuit covered it at the time. I'm pretty sure I watched that, but I can't for the life of me remember any details on that one.
Yeah, Total Biscuit did do some coverage on it. I don't much, but
I've also been playing WildStar. I got back into that this week a little bit.
Is that any good, or?
I enjoyed what I played of it, and then I unsubscribed because I wasn't finding much to do, but they keep doing sizable content updates every 3 months, and it's been about 4 or 5 months since I quit playing, so they've done like 2 update patches in the meantime. And at this point it's like, oh, there's actually a good chunk of some single-player stuff in there, so there's something for me to get back into and actually do stuff and make some progress without needing to be part of a guild and get into raiding. Because that's where I was at. It was like, at this point it's like either I quit the game or go hardcore and do the hardcore content was where I was at when I left. It was like, I either need to be working with my guild to coordinate and do Well, the attunement stuff to get into the raiding was ridiculously long and laborious in the first instance, and required you to go through all the 5-man content that was in the game, and completely, absolutely ace it. It has like a medal system for each of the instances. So at the end, once you finish a dungeon, a 5-man dungeon kind of job, at the end it says, oh, you got a bronze medal, silver medal, or gold medal, and there's one of them that's just like, oh yeah, you need to go through and get gold medals on everything. I think they dropped that down to silver at one point, but you still have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get silver. It's not just as simple as kill the final boss and ta-da, you win. So it's often like a race against the clock. At the same time, you're doing a bunch of optional side objectives throughout the whole thing. And if someone who's not very experienced in doing it, like, oh, I don't know, me, screws up a couple of times, well, you ruin it for everybody, and then people get annoyed. So that's fun. Which is why I'm not keen to do group content, to be honest. And then once you get past that, you can then go and do the even harder content in the raids in a 20 or 40-man instance. So I'm not hardcore for that. I am a cupcake.
It sounds like it's something that would turn me on.
I like the world. I like the concept. I just feel like World of Warcraft started out catering to hardcore people, and then they realized that the hardcore audience is micro-frickin-scopic. So it's not worth catering to, so they now cater to the casual audience, and guess what? They're still going 10 years later. WildStar is trying to exclusively cater to the hardcore audience, and it's just hemorrhaging subscribers.
Yeah.
There has been rumour that it might be going free-to-play later this year, but I don't know how founded those rumours are.
It does go free to play. I'd try it.
Yeah, I mean, you see that a lot with a lot of big MMOs over the last 4 or 5 years that have come out like, hey, we're a big enough name that we can afford to be a subscription model, and then nobody plays it, and they're like, you know what, let's go free to play. Conan was one of them, was it not? And then I think there were plenty of others that have been lost in the sands of time.
I never even actually tried Conan.
No, me neither. I was just that's the only name that even sticks in my mind in any way, shape, or form as being one of those titles.
I even tried like weird stuff like it's the one that starts with a V. It's instance content, kind of massively more. Vindictus. There we go.
Oh, Vindictus. Oh, right. Yeah, I think I tried that at some point.
It's fun until you hit that giant wall of you either have to pay or you're going to be spending 100 and some odd hours grinding stuff out and still not be as good.
I'm not sure I even got that far. I don't think I got very far into it before I just got bored of it, but...
It's like the 5th mission.
Oh, right. Oh, maybe I did get that part then. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Let's see. I keep hearing people talk about Vindictus, so I guess he must be at least somewhat successful. I thought that was one of those really obscure... When I played, I thought it was one of those really obscure things that nobody ever heard of, and it was like, why does this exist? Who's playing this? And then even today, as people keep talking, like when you mentioned it now, I was like, oh god, okay, Vindictus, alright. I'm not aware that it was still in any way, shape, or form relevant to anybody's lives. It keeps surprising me, that one. Just insofar as people playing it.
There's a lot of games like that where you're not quite sure who all is actually playing it, but it turns out that almost everybody has at least ran into it at least once.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we're gonna have to talk about Life is Strange a little bit this week.
Oh, maybe just a little. I don't think we can reveal too much.
Well, we're gonna have to tiptoe about the spoilers a bit, because obviously it's Life is Strange and people don't want spoilers. But 2 of us have played this.
They all died.
Yes, they all died. And it turned out that actually Chloe was a ghost after all. And yeah. And Max was Victoria's father.
Gotta work the Grim Reaper in there somewhere.
Yeah. I quite liked what they did with it. This time, it was almost a nod to the fact that they'd done most of the mechanics that they could possibly do with the game. They kind of kept lampshading stuff. It was like, oh, remember how you did this puzzle several times before? We're not going to make you do that this time. There's invariably the thing where it's like, oh, you need to reach up and get something off a high shelf.
Oh, yes.
And there's like, oh, you clumsy oaf, you've knocked everything off the shelf, and oh no, what are you going to do now? Oh, rewind time. There we go, everything's not fallen off the shelf anymore. Why don't you do it more carefully a second time around? This time the game's just like, no, if you do that, you're going to knock everything off. Don't be an oaf, just use the goddamn chair. I liked that.
Yes, it was fun.
I'm sure there were a couple of bits like that where I was like, "Oh, I see what you did there. You're. It's just a nice subtle nod to the fact that you've run out of puzzles. Actually, is what it is. But hey ho.
I really wish Don't Nod, which is the company that makes that. I really wish they'd go back and do something more with pretty much the style of mechanics they had for Remember Me.
Well, I've never played that, so I don't know. I mean, again, what I've heard from most people is that Remember Me was not very good, and that this game is miles better. So I don't know.
They're both fairly middling games in my.
All right,
but they both have their own good mechanics.
I mean, because I'm enjoying Life is Strange, I'm tempted to go and check out Remember Me at some point. But at the same time, there's the negative publicity around it. It's kind of makes me go.
Main thing to remember
worth
with
going
it,
and checking out?
If it's down to about $15-$20, yeah, it's worth checking out. If it's any more expensive than that, I really wouldn't recommend.
All right, well,
So-
it's been on sale a bunch of times, hasn't it? I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've seen it a bunch of times.
It's an okay game. It's Capcom, pretty much. Capcom pushed it out the door, and they didn't really get to flesh out the combat system, which is what you're doing most of the game. But the memory remixing thing is really worth experiencing if you have any interest in game design.
Okay, I guess I shall have to check that out at some point. But yeah, for now we've got 2 more episodes of this to go yet.
Yep.
They do.
I'd almost forgotten everything that had happened last time. I'm glad it gave me a little bit of a catch-up.
Yeah, they've still got the last time on Life is Strange kind of thing at the start of it.
Everybody's learning from. Now I'm forgetting the name of the studio. The ones who did Walking Dead.
Oh, Telltale.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's learning from them.
Yeah, if you do it episodic like that and release them just far enough apart that people are just not quite remembering it, yeah, that's very useful to have. It's like, what did happen last time? Oh, yeah, I remember now. Thanks for the reminder.
I'm glad to see that our stories aren't diverging too much, because I know I'm playing the ending that you didn't get.
Yes. I have actually been watching a Let's Play on YouTube of somebody who did get the same ending that you got in episode 2. And watching them play that and comparing it to my playthrough, it's like, actually, what we said at the end of episode 2 when we're like, oh my god, this event is so major and so dramatic, it has to change everything. No, it really doesn't.
I suspect it still does. I know I'm getting a lot of conversation-related pieces around
It is all
that
conversational,
incident.
but in, I don't know, regardless of what the outcome is, regardless of what the outcome of episode 2 is, you still get heralded as a hero by everyone. Everyone's like, oh my god, you're such a hero, you're such a fantastic person for doing that, you wonderful person. And the character in question actually doesn't make an appearance through episode 3, either because of the outcome or because of the outcome.
Being very delicate here, well done.
They write it in such a way that the character is not present in the story, regardless of the outcome.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I was hoping for more of a diverging between stories. Now that we're right bang in the middle of the episodes, I was hoping it would just wrench the two stories apart, but it seems like they're following the same narrative.
I think they do, yeah. I think it's mostly just going to be... even those major events like that are going to be mostly fairly tangential to it. It's kind of it's just like... There'll be a lot of references to it, but again, it'll just be sort of the way characters will talk about other events, and sort of when you're prying through files and computers, and when you're doing your usual nosy busybody thing that you do so well in the game. It's like, I'm just going to look at everything in your bedroom.
Don't mind me, I'm just looking through your emails.
Yeah, well, they just sat on the sofa next to you. It's like, I'm just going to read all your emails.
And nobody locks the door either.
No.
Dear.
Actually, did Victoria lock her
No,
door? She
I
didn't,
went
did
into
she?
Victoria's room and totally had a pry around everything.
I couldn't remember if there was a unlock the door mechanic there or not. No, there wasn't, was there?
No.
I guess the doors don't have locks or something. Can students not be trusted with locks?
I don't know. I'd want a lock in my room if I were in that dormitory.
Yes. Mostly because everybody else seems to go through and snoop through your stuff and then write shit on the wall.
Oh, dear.
Although the students are, broadly speaking, more respectful than I would have expected them to be given the circumstances. They're not as... You'd think that, again, a bunch of teenagers given free reign over each other's bedrooms whilst the other students are not there, probably there would be more things happen.
To be fair, we're in the girls' dormitory, not the boys.
Well, yeah, okay. I don't know if that is better or worse, though. I'm not actually convinced that that's actually better.
Still, I'll definitely be doing another playthrough of this game, making very different choices to see how it affects the narrative. I want to blame different people for different things.
I mean, there are a lot of things that sort of impact your relationships with various kind of antagonistic characters fairly negatively throughout, and I don't know. Again, I don't know how dramatic a difference it still makes to anything. And after 3 episodes, now we've had a chance to see how decisions are impacting things. It is now getting to a point where it feels like, yeah, the decisions you're making, they still don't really do all that much. Especially when you can, thanks to the power of YouTube and whatnot, go and see other people who are making the drastically different decisions to you, and see that actually, their outcome is still kind of much the same. Mostly it's just kind of how the dialogue interacts with each other later, but really, yeah, I don't know, it doesn't seem to do a lot.
To be fair, though, it's making me feel like I have the power to influence things, and that's quite a powerful narrative that they've developed.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, a lot of things it stops you and you do think long and hard. I mean, even if you get the impression it's not going to influence anything, you do stop and you go, oh, hang on, which decision should I make here? Which is the right path? And then
should I have pancakes or bacon and eggs? Oh my god.
Okay, that was less of a dramatic choice. Actually, yeah, there were 2 choices in that in episode 3, which are like, dun dun dun, which do you want to do? And it's like, those are both entirely inconsequential. There was no consequence to either of those.
But did you have pancakes or bacon and eggs?
I had pancakes.
I had pancakes. Good choice, sir.
When I go through, I'll have to get bacon and eggs.
Given that they're both made with eggs, I mean, literally the only difference is whether you make it with bacon or with milk. Is it milk? Is it milk and egg?
It's milk and eggs. Yeah.
Milk and eggs you need to get for the pancakes, yeah. So it's just like, in one place they've hidden the bacon, in the other one they've hidden the eggs. Which fetch mission do you want to go to?
That's the one thing I don't like about the illusion of freedom kind of thing that they do with those.
I will say, with the ending of episode 3, I wasn't sure if there was... Is there kind of a decision to be made there that's not dramatically presented in the dun-dun-dun decision time kind of format?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because I got the vibe that there might be. When you... I don't think there's any way to describe this scene without spoilers.
No, there isn't, because it's quite major as well.
It's super major.
It's even more major than the ending of episode 2, I'd say.
It is life-changing for all the
Yes.
characters concerned
Yes, it is,
within
actually.
it, yes.
So well done for upping it, definitely.
You've got 2 more episodes to go. Come on. What are they going to do next time? By the way, nuclear war has now been declared.
It's all your fault.
That's the next weather effect. Nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can talk any more about that without spoiling anything. So it might be worth just leaving it there.
Definitely.
What is the time frame on being allowed to discuss this game? When are we allowed to talk about Life is Strange Episode 3?
Next week, I'm saying to anyone listening who's a regular listener, if you haven't already played this game and you are interested in playing this game, play it before next week, because we want to talk about this.
But what about people who are waiting until all the episodes are out before they buy it?
Then tough.
Okay, right, fair enough. Right, you have been warned there will be Life is Strange Episode 3 discussion next week. If you want to avoid Life is Strange Episode 3 discussion, we're going to have to find a way for you to work around that. Other than straight up not watch the podcast, because obviously we want you to tune in next week as well.
Timestamps are a wonderful thing for annotation.
We're gonna have to do some annotation wizardry and things, yes. And some spoiler notifications. Damn it, you're making me do work.
Yep.
I don't want to do work. Work sucks. Alright, the only other thing I played this week was Castaway Paradise, which I thought was going to be really, really good. It was supposed to be Animal Crossing on PC.
Let me guess, it wasn't.
It is, but it's Animal Crossing if it was on iPhone. Yeah. It's they sucked the soul out of it and sold it for microtransactions. Except they didn't, because they didn't sell it for microtransactions on PC, but you can see the hole where the microtransactions were.
That's horrible.
So yeah, they designed it for iOS first and foremost. I think you can also play it on Facebook if you wanted. I didn't realize. I should have actually checked out the Facebook version for a good comparison. I didn't realize it was on Facebook until after. I wanted to check out the mobile version, but they haven't released it for Android yet, so I can't actually check out the mobile version.
It actually surprises me how many games are actually on Facebook.
Yeah. Given that I wasn't aware many people actually use that as a gaming platform anymore, it kind of had that weird surge when everybody played Farmville, and then I don't get notifications for games more than once every couple of months now, so there's not that many people
blocked.
Well, I figured they keep making them, but yeah, because I invariably blocked them all, but I figure somebody must keep making them, but I guess nobody's playing them. I don't know.
I have a few friends who play a lot. I make sure they stay blocked.
I know they did a Facebook version of Worms, which was by far and away the worst version of mobile monetization I've ever seen in my life. You could it was literally just buying power. It was like, here, would you like to pay money for a holy hand grenade? Cha-ching, now you have a holy hand grenade. It's like, oh my god, this is horrible.
I tried the Facebook version of You Don't Know. That was actually okay. It wasn't great, but Facebook.
Yeah. Castaway Paradise was... stylistically, it looks spot on. It looks like Animal Crossing. But there's just so many mechanics in it are just like... They've replaced the microtransactions with in-game currency transactions now, so all the things where it was like, hey, would you like to pay 20 cents to make this go a bit faster? Because it's kind of got it's got a lot of the really gross monetization stuff going on, clearly. It's like, oh, you're growing a tree. This tree is going to take you a couple of hours to grow. Would you like to pay some money to make it go faster, kind of things? Or actually, I don't think... I'm not sure if that one is a thing. There's a lot of stuff like your tools will wear out. It's like, oh, you've only got a limited amount of water in your watering can to water all your plants in your garden. Would you like to refill it a bit faster? It's like normally it regenerates at like 1 unit of water per minute or something. But it's like, oh, if you click this button here, you can refill it instantly. And now it just uses in-game currency for that. So it's like, oh, now you can just trade gems for it. And it's like, that's a horrible mechanic.
They just don't think about this stuff.
No, there's no consideration whatsoever has been given to actually porting it to a PC market. They've just assumed that the PC market would play exactly the same game as the Facebook gaming market would, and that's not true in the slightest. It's
you can
catering
sort
to
of
wildly
go with
different
that
demographics.
with console gaming, but not with Facebook or Facebook and mobile. I have to say, are like currently just still a big cesspool.
They are, well, yes, they are. You get the occasional gems in there, but you got to wade through so much crap to get the gems.
It's just not worth it.
No. And yeah, the vast majority of that stuff is catering to a very, very niche market, and clearly, Castaway Paradise was aiming for that same market. And honest to God, Castaway Paradise could have been made for a PC market, but they would have needed to have redesigned it from the ground up, rethought through the mechanics, and given a bit of consideration to how the game worked before actually putting it in front of a PC market. I mean, there's a VIP thing, which I thought was a one-off transaction, but looking on what was I looking at? I think probably on like the reviews on iOS, it was like people complaining about the subscription model there, so it's like, oh, I guess it's actually a subscription for the VIP thing. And it's like, it's Animal Crossing insofar as they start you out instead of a tiny house, they give you a tent, and it's like, oh, if you get enough money, you can upgrade your house, and if you get more money, you can upgrade it again. And clearly the VIP thing is just there to circumvent it. It's like, oh, if you pay a one-time subscription fee, we'll automatically give you a mansion. And it's like, when you've just removed the core mechanic of the game, the progression there, it's like you literally just paid to not play the game now. You were thrown money at failing to upgrade your house, which was one of the core aspects of actually making any progress in this damn world. That'd
be like just paying to have a house made for you in Sky Saga. Which I could...
Yeah,
I hopefully they won't do that.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like with Sky Saga they've like really thought too hard about the monetization mechanics at all yet. They're just like, we'll deal with that when we get to it. It seems to be their attitude. It's like, okay, as long as you deal with it well when you get there, I'm okay with it. But for now, it's just like, we don't know. In this one, it's like, okay, you want to do stuff, well, pay us money to do the stuff. And now it's like, pay virtual money to do the stuff. And it's like, you're still trying to save up to upgrade your house, but at the same time, it's like, oh, would you like to pay virtual money for this? Would you like to do this? Would you like to do this? Would you like to do this? Like, no, stop pestering me for money. I know it's not even real money, but stop pestering me for it. At this point, you might as well be pestering me for real money, because it's just as annoying. And then the fact that everything's on a timer, it's that kind of Farmville... we don't really want you to play this game, go away and come back later kind of thing going on as well. It's like everything that you do is like, oh, it's going to take a while to do this now. Oh, you're building a house? Oh, well, that's going to take 20 minutes, so come back in 20 minutes, we might have built this house. Oh, you're growing plants? Well, that'll take another 20 minutes as well. Okay, it's like, just come back later in the day, you can play it some more then. It's like, you don't want me to play your game. You want me to play your game for 5 minutes on the toilet and come back later in the day. And I don't have my desktop when I'm on the toilet. So this relationship isn't going to work out here. This ain't happening. So that's such a missed opportunity. It's like, the mechanics in there have the potential to be solid if they'd just given it a tiny iota of thought as to how to implement it.
That's one thing a lot of these companies don't want to do, cash grab.
But the thing is, if you put any thought into it, you could have made some... there's definitely a market for Animal Crossing on PC, and if you did it well, there would be a market for it. There'd be a huge market for it, I'm quite certain of that. But by doing it badly, you're going to make... I feel like you're going to make even less money out of it, even if you're just in it for the money, you're going to make less money out of it by doing it badly. Even if you got it out the door a bit quicker.
But what's the profit versus cost ratio?
Well, I don't know. That's for developers and economists to delve into and try and figure that one out.
Because frankly, if they're making 50 cents on the dollar for a cheap piece of crap thing and only making $1 million off of it, they are still better off than if they were only making 25 cents on the dollar and making like billions.
I don't think your numbers add up, but I get the point you're trying to make.
Basically, they can make other cheap products and sell those for the same 50 cents on a dollar.
Potentially.
Is their approach.
But nobody else has done this on PC. Like I say, their big thing was like, oh, this is the only life sim on Steam. It's like, exactly, if you've done it well, I mean, are people going to buy it just because it is the only one? Even if it's the only one, that doesn't automatically make it good, but now I'm kind of concerned that people would just buy it because it's the only one. Ugh.
but they're looking at it as, oh, all games are the same kind of, are going to always return the same kind of thing. But fortunately, that's not how it works out.
Yeah. I
Pretty much
think
what the
that's just a missed
iOS market
opportunity.
thrives on.
Yeah.
Is making that 50 cents on a dollar.
I guess it's a disgusting market.
Yep.
I would want to have no part in it, and if anyone tries to turn the PC gaming market into that, I will have them hung at dawn. Quite frankly.
Random question, like out of the blue here. How do you feel about YouTubers getting into, like gaming YouTubers getting into making games?
I don't know.
Because I've
It's
noticed
something I
that trend
contemplated
has
doing,
become thing.
Has it?
Yeah. You have Adlington T, Games James, several others.
The only one I was aware of is Games Plus James, and I suspect we're both aware of it for the same reasons.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it. I mean, there's obviously kind of your really, really, really big names that kind of occasionally sort of commission games to be made, I guess. You've got stuff like your Angry Video Game Nerd stuff, and the Yogscast obviously did their failed Yog Ventures thing. I'm surprised there's not a PewDiePie game out there.
Fly on the wall for that Yogs.
In what regard, sorry?
I kind of want to see what really happened to all the money. Because I do know that one guy ran off with some of it. That
was a bit of a mess. Yeah.
But no, there's people like Adlington T who work on their own little games on the side, but they don't really.
I don't know that it's necessarily a transferable skill in any regard, but it's obviously a common interest, so I can see why people would want to get into it. Certainly, I feel like somebody who consumes that amount of games would probably have a good feel for good game mechanics and would probably be fairly competent at game design. Whether that obviously that's not necessarily going to translate to any skill in coding or graphics or audio or anything like that, but in terms of actually coming up with a competent mechanic and making a game compelling, I feel like they would probably have a pretty good handle on that. But I don't know, they feel like fairly diverse skills to me. I'm not necessarily sure there's too much overlap other than the common, feature of both involving games. Why do you ask?
Just random thought while reading a few things.
Fair enough.
I just feel like sometimes whenever YouTubers get into it, especially if they're above a certain size, it's more like popularity rather than just game development. So the game kind of takes a back seat.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely with the big ones, it's just like, hey, can we make some more money some other different way?
Let's sell a game.
Especially when you consider that ad revenue is not the most reliable way in the world to make money. So a lot of people suffer from failing ad revenues over the years.
I was getting half the views, I think it was like a year and a half ago or something like that, and getting the same ad revenue I am now.
Right. I really haven't kept track of mine over a long period of time, so I really couldn't make much comparison. But I know a lot of big channels keep talking quite frequently at this point about how poor ad revenue has been over the last 6 months or so. So, yeah. Lean times all around, I suspect, in that regard, so I can't blame people for looking to go get money elsewhere, but I'm not necessarily sure indie games is the way forward, because how many of them make much of a profit? But then you get Yog Ventures, where it's just like, hey, fans, throw money at me, please. I suppose in that regard, as regards, your crowdfunding, if you're big enough, you can lean on an audience to guarantee at least some degree of funding in that regard.
Without any real experience with developing the games.
Yeah, even if you're just compare an indie developer who's literally just learning to make games and trying to go into it blind, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to go to Pixel Prospector and hang around on forums and get advice, and maybe r/game dev on Reddit, and making their first game and trying to get some publicity and word of mouth out that way. They're going to have a much harder time, I suppose. From the marketing perspective, the YouTuber, I guess, already has an audience to which they can turn to and say, hey, all my subscribers, I'm making a thing. Would you like to pay for the thing that I'm making?
Of course,
I
if
guess
you're
there's
big
an
enough,
element
they're
there.
going to say yes.
Yes, of course. And the same holds true for Patreon as well, so hey.
Yeah. I have a Patreon, but it's...
Oh, really? Why don't you tell the good people where they can find your Patreon?
that'll come later on.
Oh, fair enough.
But no. It's one of those things that I'm kind of like, I'm still small and I still have like ethical qualms of actually launching it. Just seems like, yeah, it'll help out, but at the same time, why am I asking people to support something I do out of like fun?
I get, well, so that
You can do more of it, but
yeah, so that you can do more of it and give back more to your community, I think would be the standard argument. You can, with more money, you can up your production quality, you can make better products for your community, you can make more stuff for your community, you can give back something. And they get to help support something that they enjoy, which is, something people tend to like doing.
Depends how much ambition you have for what you're doing, how big you want it to be, and how much of that you can do for yourself without the support of your community.
True, but money makes a lot of things go a lot easier.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. So if you have the ambition but not the money, and you have the audience base, then I don't see a problem with it.
I'm going to be totally quoting Total Biscuits here, but as with many things, it's literally just a tool, and how you leverage that tool is entirely up to you. They can be used for good and for bad, like many tools. Like a knife, you may slice a fine steak, or you may stab a person in the neck. It's a tool that can be used for
it
both good
always
and bad.
devolves to shanking.
No. It's like the old NRA argument. You can use a gun for hunting, or you can murder someone in the street. See? You can shoot people as well as shanking them.
Or you can accidentally shoot your hunting partner if you're
Dick Cheney, yes.
Still find it hilarious that's like global news. Even to this day.
Amusing.
I mean,
Go on.
How does something like that happen?
Was the argument not that he thought he was a deer? Or something? I can't remember what the circumstances
Need to
there
shave
were.
your beard. You look like a deer.
Well, yeah. He was a very deer-like personality. Oh, well, I think we're probably going to leave that there for the break, because we seem to be running out of steam on the things we've played front. So we're going to... I'm going to refresh my Steam page and see if Steam has been fixed yet. It has! They have fixed Steam in the last hour. Brilliant.
Yay! Means I can go check it.
Which does mean that I don't have an actual release list this week that I've compiled ahead of time. Yeah, this is it's going to be a bit off the cuff.
Oh, we can sort that out in the break. You'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, sure. All right. We shall be back after these words from our sponsors. But Mash Podcast is back.
I think you can hold a note longer than me.
Well, I can't do the smooth jazz as well as you, though, so... Well, it seemed to be the growing tradition of making that as long as possible, so... seemed appropriate. We're going to do some gaming news on the second half here. Well, there's not a lot terribly compelling, but one of them is something I wanted to follow up from a previous week's story, so I'm going to touch on that. But first up, Desora has been not paying people, like, much lately. Apparently they haven't been doing this for a while, but suddenly there's been a few... I mean, Desora, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of essentially like Steam for indies, or kind of how it was originally kind of launched and branded, I think. And I kind of liked the concept, but there was very little worthwhile content on it, to be honest. It might honest opinion. It was kind of in the same kind of place as browsing through like an iOS app store. There's a lot of stuff in there that's not terribly fantastic. And add to that the problem that they also did an early access thing like Steam. You kind of then... It's like, imagine iOS with early access. That's not a compelling thought. So, yeah, they had been, ticking away doing their thing for a while, and then I guess they were bought out by Bad Juju Games from Linden Labs back in November, and since then there seem to be quite a lot of issues with paying people money for the things that they have sold, which is not great. And I think a few devs I saw a post on the indie gaming subreddit earlier this week where one of the devs was like, hey, has anybody else been paid by Desura? We haven't been paid in a while. And suddenly a lot of other people are like, yeah, we haven't been paid. And suddenly it seems to be there's kind of a lot of people blowing. I was like, hey, they haven't paid anyone in a while. This is kind of becoming an issue. Looking into that, the CEO, who apparently is the person responsible for that, is currently in hospital, so the CEO is not able to pay that money. I don't know how many people work for those guys, but apparently can't be that many.
Wager's not too many.
Yeah, if you got the CEO is literally in charge of doing, I guess, accounting. That's kind of not normally the CEO's job within a company. Normally you would have, like, an accountant to do the accounting. One would have thought. Additionally to that, apparently they still haven't caught up with the backlog of things from changing over between companies. And they're trying to design an entirely new UI to the Desura interface as well at the same time. So, wonderful little perfect storm of issues conflating. And then there's a lot of people sort of making the speculation that this is more sort of the behavior and kind of excuses and attitude of a company that is not doing terribly well and is about to go bye-bye. So, I don't know. Thoughts?
None in particular.
Have either of you even used the service?
I haven't used Desura in a very long time. No, neither have I. It caught my eye because it was like, oh, Desura, I remember that. I was so optimistic about Desura back in the day. And yeah, it doesn't seem to have ever really gone anywhere. Well, with Steam being as loose and fast with letting games on now, it's kind of like,
that probably hasn't helped them, because I mean, initially their place was, hey, we'll publish whatever the hell Steam won't, and now Steam's kind of in a position where they're like, hey, we'll publish whatever. So that kind of leaves Desura in a place where they're like, well, now what are they publishing? What is their unique selling point? And I'm
the
not
junk
sure there is
games
one.
that not even Steam will publish.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty low down the charts at that point, when Steam won't publish you at this point.
I mean, even IndieDB is a better source to do this kind of stuff through. Yeah, they don't usually sell it, but
I'll say, yeah, it's not like it's a storefront and distribution service, is it? I thought that's just more.
But you can download and support your games on there.
I've not really delved into it too much. I thought it was more. I've seen a lot of people use it for like press kits and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, just go to our IndieDB page for press, and it's like, in my personal opinion, it's a bloody awful place to do a press kit when there's, when you've got Rami Ismail's do press kits, which is like, that is the best press kit. Use that one. That one's such a simple one. But that's neither here nor there. So I don't know if there's much to talk about this one.
It's kind of bad that indies are getting screwed, but
yeah.
It's Desura.
I was going to say, these are kind of the people that do need that money more than anyone else as well. These are people who's like, oh, it's only like $500. Yeah, but that $500 is probably like what they literally needed to pay rent this month. When they got people that are literally relying on that money, that's not a really good place to be. So I hope this all gets worked out, but it doesn't sound fantastic. I hadn't been aware of the Bad Juju acquisition, because Linden Lab are the guys who do Second Life, right, aren't they? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I was going to say, as far as
things that exist go, that's a fairly successful and large thing. Linden Lab is... Yeah, so they're the guys who made Second Life, which, to the best of my knowledge, is still around, right?
Thought it shut down.
Did it really?
It might still be around. Let's check.
I'm gonna have to look at this now. Secondlife.com still exists. And then there's a big button on the top that says play for free. Yeah. It's still a thing. People are still having really weird, fucked up sex in a virtual world.
Creepy.
Cool. Oh, you can do it with the Oculus Rift now. They've implemented Oculus Rift into Second Life. You have creepy, fucked up, weird alien sex in a virtual world and in a first-person view. Brilliant. Sweet. That's what I always wanted out of life.
Just combine that with some stuff from Japan and you're good.
So yeah, that's kind of. I would have said Linden Lab was a fairly big name to own Desura. Maybe they wanted rid of it because they knew it wasn't going so well. Because I was like, I've never heard of Bad Juju. That one's a new one to me. And quite frankly, if you Google Linden Lab, you can find quite a lot of information on Linden Lab. If you Google Bad Juju, the first thing that pops up is the Destiny Wiki. Because that Bad Juju is apparently the name of an exotic pulse rifle within Destiny. Oh, there is badjuju.com. I have no idea who these guys are, what they've done in the past. They've worked with some big names, apparently, though. They made goop.io. I don't know what that is. The logo looks like that Desura thing now, so that explains... when they changed the logo, that must have been around the takeover. And I spotted that, and people were linking Desura, and it suddenly got this red, blobby alien thing for the logo. I was like, Desura used to have this elegant kind of crest emblem kind of thing as their logo, and then they turned it into like a red blob, and they're like, what the hell is the red blob?
Junk.
Oh. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's those guys. They maybe not doing so great. Other news. A couple of weeks back we talked about Dimension Drive, which was the Kickstarter that got the €7,000 pledge that was cancelled by someone stealing a credit card somewhere, or just generally being fraudulent. They have relaunched their campaign, and it's doing pretty okay.
They're about where they were before.
They are
the false pledge.
I thought
a lot more time to go, so that's good. That's good.
They've essentially bought themselves more time on it. Really, is what they've done there. Yeah, it seems like most of the people who backed it before have probably backed it again, because they're back up to just shy of €24,000, which is actually higher than where they were before. And yes, 23 days to go at present. What I checked, I saw the notification that they launched it again, and when I checked it, that was like a day or two after launch. They were already at 20,000, so I guess that's kind of slowed down. I guess there was the initial burst of a lot of people who'd backed it before backing it again. And I don't think that the press probably hurts particularly, given that everybody talked about it because it was such a big deal that it was crushed in such a way. So I imagine there's a lot of people probably discovered it that hadn't discovered it before. A lot of when Polygon and Kotaku and etc. all published articles about it going, hey, look at this thing that's happening. There's probably a lot of people went, hey, that's a thing I've never heard of, but looks really cool.
It is a pretty neat concept. It's like a twin screen bullet hell almost.
I will say, if you have any interest in seeing the mechanic in action, they added that mechanic as a power-up to Roche Fusion in the update this week. And it's confusing as all hell. It's such a weird one to get to grips with. I couldn't wrap my head around it at all.
But would have to give a stab at it.
I'm gonna say I like the idea. I would like to spend some time to get to grips with it. It's I think it's one of those concepts that's kind of a bit thinking with portals. You kind of need to. I think if you wrap your head around the mechanic, you might be reasonable at it, but it takes a little bit where you're like, I think it needs to click before you can actually figure out what's actually going on there, and make good use of it. So yeah, go check that out. I'm glad they've bounced back, because they initially said that they weren't going to run another campaign, And then I guess a lot of people were like, hey, no, you should totally do it again. We will back you again. And they did. So, something a little bit more positive there, sort of. That's probably about it. We've burned through the news in 10 minutes.
Yeah. There's not much news going on right now.
It's been a quiet week. I'll say the most notable thing I've seen people talk about is just people going on about the other big Kickstarters that we've been going on about for the last few weeks. Just insofar as everyone thinks it's really interesting that big companies who already have most of the funding are still turning to Kickstarter for money. Whether that's... I don't know, some people saying that's unreasonable for them to do that. Some people are like, hey, no, that's totally okay.
It's publicity for them.
It's definitely publicity, yeah.
I don't even think it's for the money in most cases.
Well, given that the money that they're raising is a tiny chunk of the total cost, it's probably not. No, it is mostly a marketing tool. It's a marketing and pre-order tool is what it is.
Yep. Glorified pre-ordering.
Yeah.
That you don't actually have to deliver on.
Well, there is an element of that, yes, definitely. The question is, do you trust the rare guys, the ex-rare guys, to do that? I kind of... Well, I've thrown my money at it, so I've kind of said I do in that regard.
The one I'm watching is the one with... Iga. Guy who did Symphony of the Night.
Oh, the Castlevania one, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I haven't backed that, but I am interested in it. I was like, it does look really nice. It looks like a really pretty game. And I do
hopefully it'll live up to the legacy.
I was going to say, I have enjoyed what I've played of Castlevania in the past, so I certainly wouldn't object to playing something like that.
Symphony of the Night was pretty good. Of course, I liked most of the early Castlevanias. I didn't like the later 3D ones.
Which one was Symphony of the Night? Because I can never remember which one's which.
Super Nintendo, it has a castle, and you then explore the castle upside down.
No, it's not going that far back for me. No, it won't be the same one that I'm thinking of then. I have no idea which one. Was it? Might have been Circle of the Moon, might be the one I played?
Or was it PlayStation? Now you have me thinking
it might have been PlayStation. I've got it on Wikipedia. Yeah, it was PlayStation, this one.
Symphony of the Night must have been PlayStation.
Yeah, I've got it. Yes, PlayStation it is. It was on PlayStation and Sega Saturn and the Tiger handheld, and it is now on XBLA and PSN.
Now I might have to get an Xbox just to play it on Xbox Live. Playing it on the computer kind of sucks.
I'll say I have no idea what would... I don't know how it differs from the other ones. I thought they were all fairly much of a muchness.
The old ones definitely show their age. But...
Yeah, the one I played was on the GBA, whichever one that might have been. I think it might have been Circle of the Moon. Let's find out.
All I know is Symphony of the Night was pretty much the crown jewel of Castlevania, and still pretty much is.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, I will trust the man who made Castlevania to do a good job with another Castlevania thing.
It looks like it was a bit more advanced than Circle of the Moon.
I've got a list of Castlevania media. But it doesn't necessarily... I don't know if this is actually in chronological order. It might be. Yes, it was Circle of the Moon. Yes, that was the one that... That is the one that had the cards that you could combine to make interesting weapons. Which I really liked because that was very similar to the way Magic Maker worked. Yes, I like that mechanic. That's good. I don't know if they ever used it in any other Castlevania, but whatever. Regardless, let's do some gaming releases, because actually now that Steam's up, it seems like we might actually have a good few to get through. So I should probably do that.
Indeed.
Let's start off with our sort of amalgamated console list and other things. What Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remaster for the PS4. Which is... Did we not do this last week? I thought we did this one last week.
I don't think either of us were here last week.
Okay, then... What do you mean you don't watch the podcast? I'm pretty sure we mentioned Final Fantasy X, and I seem to recall mentioning my disappointment. I may also be looking at the wrong bit of the list. I'm looking at last week's list.
You are.
Yeah! Woo! Hooray!
You're looking
at
the stuff 10th through the 17th.
Yeah, this list does not put the recent stuff at the top. It puts old stuff at the top. Yes, Roundabout is where we're starting. That's right. Roundabout is... This is for the PS4. It's already out on PC. It's about a limo that is constantly spinning for... I'm not even sure what the reasoning is. It's kind of like... I don't know what it's like. It's like its own thing. It's got a lot of FMV sequences and driving a limo around town whilst it's spinning wildly out of control all the time. It's a bit strange.
Never tried it.
I have heard good things about it, but I've not played it. Yeah, I probably should check it out at some point. Badland Game of the Year Edition is something from 2 years ago. It is out on PS4 and PS3. Touch-based side-scrolling platformer. Apparently about some sort of black blobs. Not a lot of information. For the Vita, we have Octodad. I trust most people are probably familiar with Octodad. Which is a game about just an average guy kind of trying to live his life with his wife and kids. There's nothing really noteworthy about him at all. So, yeah, I'm not sure what the appeal is of that game. It seems to be really popular.
This is just a house simulator.
It's just, yes, domestic life simulator. So yeah, that's nothing significant. It's on the Vita if you want it. We've got Magicka 2, which we already mentioned. That is out on apparently PC, PS4, and Linux, which is a strange combination of things for it to be on.
Yeah, that is a bit strange that it's just on the one console.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got... do we need to delve into that any further, or did we cover it well enough earlier?
Pretty much. It's essentially Magicka, but +1.
Magicka ++, yes. Ultra Street Fighter 4, which again is also an old thing that came out last year, I guess. Yeah, April 2014. This is now out on PS4s. It seems like everything's just bringing out things on PS4 this week. This list is just a lot of things that are previously out on other stuff and is now on PS4.
Building up the PS4 back catalog, I guess.
Indeed. We got Crazy Climber from 1980 for the PS4.
What?
Yeah. Which sounds and vague... I'm not familiar with it. It sounds vaguely like it would be... I was going to say Ice Climbers, but actually it's not remotely, is it? No. But it's some... How many years ago is that now? That's a 35-year-old arcade title. Jesus.
When did... Oh, 1980?
1980, yeah.
Good than me. Damn.
I'd rather play Rampage.
Yeah, Rampage was good.
Oh, so good.
I don't know Rampage.
Oh, Sega.
Okay. We got Ninja Kid, which is from 1984. Also for
Younger
the PS4.
than me.
We have Invisimals for the PlayStation Vita, which is... Was that not one of those... Invisimals, was that not one of the Kinect titles? That was one of the big selling Kinect ones, I thought. Originally released.
Never heard of it.
I don't know. It might have been a PlayStation Eye thing, to be honest, but I thought it was a Kinect thing. It's one of those augmented reality ones where it's like, oh, we're going to project animals into your living room, and look, you've got adorable little tigers running around your living room.
B.
Oh, the original was on PSP, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, well, fair enough. Looking on the Wikipedia page, one review quote is, Invisimals really wants to be Pokemon but takes away everything that was great about it. Which is, ouch.
Dang.
Yeah. This is Invisimals The Resistance, which has markerless smart AR technology, whatever that means. Weird Park, The Final Show, for PlayStation 3 is a hidden object game. Oh my god, they've started putting hidden object games on console. What the hell is wrong with this world? Guilty Gear XX Up Arrow Core Plus. I don't know how you pronounce that symbol.
It's a Greek symbol, but I
Is this a
can't
Greek
remember what
letter?
it's
Yeah.
for.
I don't know what that means. I don't think it's intended to be. Oh. Fortunately, the page here does indeed tell us that it's supposed to be pronounced Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus. That symbol apparently means accent or something. Okay then. This is actually, oh god, this is from 2009. And it's now coming to PC 6 years later. Well, this is a week of re-releases. This is such a week of re-releases. Mega Man 8 from the PS1 is coming to the PS3. Vitamin Z is a free-to-play shooter about a scientist trying to reclaim her lab from vicious zombie fruits and vegetables. What? That sounds like Plants vs. Zombies.
Does it look like it, though?
I don't know, because there's no screenshots.
Hmm.
I need to Google that one and find out. Because... Vitamin... Oh, God. Vitamin Z is an English pop rock group formed in 1982 by Jeff Barradale and bassist Nick Lockwood. I don't think that's the same one. It is also the name of a 2013 TV show, which is still running, about an apocalypse, surprisingly enough. I don't think we're going to find any information on the game. It seems like there are too many other people who've already used the name Vitamin Z.
Oh. I just sent you a link to a video.
Oh, you did. Well, that's going to start making noise on my screen, so that's going to be great. You can really quickly. Vitamin Z launch trailer.
It looks like you're sitting in the. Looks like third-person Fruit Ninja, except with a gun.
Okay.
You're sitting in the middle of the room, shooting all around you, killing plants and fruit.
I would have said that's. It still seems tower defense-y, but more sort of action tower defense. Sort of a
and it doesn't look like you really add anything other than you just sit in the middle of the room and shoot the gun.
Yeah, you're literally on a mounted turret in the middle of the room that just rotates, and you shoot things that walk towards the center of the room. Which I also feel like I've seen that concept somewhere before, but I couldn't tell you where I've seen it.
Probably won't be picking it up personally.
No, not the most compelling thing I've seen today. Don't Starve Giant Edition for the Wii U. So, yeah, that's Don't Starve being ported to another platform. Don't Starve is generally pretty well received, I think. I have it. I don't think I've ever actually played it, but...
You haven't played Don't Starve?
I haven't played it, no. I've heard good things, and I've seen good things, but I haven't played it. I really should.
Get you in on Don't Starve together.
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah.
So we can noob it up.
Absolutely. Serpent in the Staglands, which I nearly said Strangelands.
We can tell what's on your mind.
Indeed. A party-based CRPG featuring a real-time with pause combat system inspired by Baldur's Gate and Darklands.
Looks like a really bad knockoff of Baldur's Gate from the pictures.
I'm not familiar enough with it to make much comment on that one, so I shall defer to your judgment now.
Let's just say the graphics are way worse than what Baldur's Gate were.
Really?
Definitely.
Oh. Okay. Splatoon for the Wii U. You know what? That actually looks really good. I don't have a Wii U, but it's one of those things that slowly they're going to whittle me down. I might actually end up buying a Wii U at some point this console generation, because actually it seems like there's a bunch of pretty good stuff coming out on the Wii U. This is one
Looks
of the
like
things.
a Paint Wars kind of thing.
Yeah, it's firstly I think it's the first new IP Nintendo have done in like 8 years or something.
Good lord.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a third-person shooter involving paint and squids and things, and I think Octodad is one of the playable characters, which is really weird in a game about squid. I don't know why they would just put just a dad in a game about squid. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it looks pretty fun. It looks like it's kind of maybe takes a little bit from was it Super Mario Sunshine, maybe, with the whole paint stuff. I don't know if that's where it was inspired from or what, but I know they've recently done like a beta testing of it, and I think it may just be one of those enough people need to play the game to balance it. Apparently there's like a paint roller as one of the weapons, and it's just like so OP because it just storms through and just insta-kills pretty much everything it hits. But I guess it's like a melee range, so I think the answer to that is, don't you just shoot the guy from range? Have you not got a sniper of some sort of paint sniper? I don't know. I don't have a console, so I can't test it out, but I wouldn't mind giving it a go at some point. The Fruit of Grisaya.
I was about to say, if only it would go to PC.
Yeah, well, it's Nintendo, so it's not like
it'll never go to PC.
Nah. We have The Fruit of Grisaya, or Grisaya no Kaijitsu, which is a visual novel about a boy who becomes the first male student at Mihama Academy, a private school aimed at helping youths have trouble fitting into society. It's anime bullshit.
Visual novel. Fan service.
It's from Sakai Project, is probably just straight up porn, actually. Because that's what those guys make. Don't ask me why.
I mean, if you look at the pictures available, you can kind of pick up on that vibe.
I didn't delve into the screenshots, I just sort of made the assumption. Although there are a lot of screenshots for this game. Why for a visual novel there are a lot of screenshots of this. It's mostly character art. Yep, that's fan service plenty. Okay. Legend of K Anniversary is
anniversary of.
Sorry?
I have never played the original.
No, it's a remaster of the 2004 title. What it was originally on, I don't know. This is for PC, PS4, and Wii U. It looks like... just looking at the box art, it looks like one of those character platformers that were kind of cashing in on the fact that character platforms were successful, but then it was kind of late to the party. I'm thinking Ty the Tasmanian Tiger kind of area of things. Where it's like, hey, we can have a mascot too. Where it's like, nobody cares. Mario and Banjo-Kazooie and all those things already exist. Although, hey, maybe they picked the right time to do that, since everybody's all over ukulele, so...
Yeah. Be a good time for it to come back out.
Maybe this is the right time for character platform type things. Assuming that's what it is, it looks very much like it is. And Splatoon Special Edition, which is more Splatoon.
Same game, Special Edition.
Yep. Moving on to Steam, which is, hopefully Will's been through and filtered this ahead of time, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. You read them out then, since you know what you know what we've got going on.
Alright, we've got Midnight's Blessing. There's a adventure RPG. Looks like an RPG maker.
It looks a lot like an RPG. It looks really no. RPG Maker usually looks better than that. This looks really awful. Even by RPG Maker standards.
How much are they planning to charge for it, do you think? $10, $15?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
I've seen RPG Maker games on there for like $12, $15. I'm like, dude, no.
I think it's the same company that made most of the RPG Maker titles you've seen. This is Aldoleia Games, and they have made most of the RPG Maker titles on Steam, I think. Those guys just pump them out at a ridiculous rate of knots. They're just like RPG Maker titles non-stop.
Well, if you got your thing, I guess.
Alrighty.
Well, next. Some of them's buying him. We have Heroes of Loot, a brutal mix between dungeon crawler and shoot 'em up. The dungeon will learn from you and become more dangerous every time you play.
That's an interesting claim to make. Is the game self-aware? Is it Skynet?
That's pretty terrifying.
Is it Skynet the roguelike?
I would think if it's a game that learns from you, then all you really need to do is just switch class regularly. Because it'd be adapting to a different attack type.
Maybe. It looks like pretty generic pixel art roguelike kind of thing. But yeah, that claim's kind of interesting. I would be interested to see what that is and how that works, and how easily that system could be gamed.
No, because I can't imagine you can make many different kinds of attacks in a game like this. So yeah, it's probably more class-based than anything.
Yeah. Played a million things just like it, I'm quite sure.
We have Guild of Dungeoneering.
Is that even out this week? That just says coming soon.
Coming soon. It was in the list, descending down. So
Yeah,
I've played
you gotta be
this.
careful. Oh, have you? Oh, carry on then.
I didn't realize it was supposed to be coming out, but I've played like a very, very early version of this. It's actually kind of good.
turn-based
great.
dungeon crawler with a twist.
Yeah, it was a browser-based game whenever I tried it. But it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Apparently, you control building the dungeon around the hero.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Interesting.
You could really
so-
screw yourself over in it too.
Fair enough.
Why would you want to?
On accident.
We've got Magicka 2 again, and
Yeah.
Magnetic Cage Closed.
Oh, you're skipping over. You skipped over the anime bullshit.
Have
I
I?
see what you're doing there. You missed Akiba's Trip, dude.
Oh,
Which is the game about tearing clothes off vampires.
where's that one?
It was
I can't
right
see
above.
that one in the list now.
On my list, it's right above Magnetic. Cage
Let's have a look.
closed. 26th of May. Akiba's Trip, Undead and Undressed.
It's not even in my list.
Huh. You seem to have a limited list.
In mine.
Yeah, this is this
Is it
Oh,
Closed
this
Vampire?
Akiba's Trip is after Magnetic in my list.
Oh, right.
Never
Oh,
mind.
interesting.
Never mind. Anyway.
Yeah, Akiba's Trip is about. It's very Japanese. It's imagine the most Japanese game you can think of. It's that. It's a fighting game literally about tearing the clothes off of your opponents. The justification of this being that they are vampires and will burn up when exposed to sunlight. So, obviously, the way you do that is by tearing their clothes off of them. Why wouldn't you? Makes sense.
I'd play it 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Alrighty, Magnetic, have your way. Let's move on.
An action adventure puzzle first person.
Is this Portal? Is this does this want to be Portal? It's a first-person puzzle game about a gun that does fancy things.
Manipulates magnetic forces.
Okay, that's interesting.
A Portal by any other name, you know.
Well, I liked Portal, and
Well-
they're probably not going to make more Portal, so
Yeah, because they don't do number 3.
yeah.
They could make
Even
Portal
the
4.
gun... Even the gun looks a little bit like the Portal gun, except if it was made in like the
Yeah.
1950s.
They've got picking up cubes and then throwing it onto buttons and stuff, and they sort of a lot of it just looks very similar. I guess if you want more Portal, hey, there's some more Portal.
I do
There-
want more
I was
Portal.
gonna
I
say
miss Portal.
There are worse things to offer in life.
Yeah.
Then more Portal.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if you ever played. I don't know why. I was thinking about this earlier this week. I can't remember why, but Quantum Conundrum.
Oh yeah.
That was I enjoyed Quantum Conundrum, but they released the DLC. I picked up the DLC way too late, and I couldn't get back into it after I bought the DLC.
I
think-
have it. I haven't played it. I might have to do that first then.
Yeah, if you want some Portal, you could do far worse than Quantum Conundrum.
Okay. We've got Badland Game of the Year edition again, and A Bastard's Tale.
Bastard's Tale. That sounds
Bastard's
good.
Tale. Have you ever
Also
played
my
a
life
game
story.
where you wished you could position your sword in the right angle to deflect an enemy's sword strike? This is the game for you.
I have never heard a less interesting game in my life. That's the worst sounding thing I know of.
As a HEMA practitioner, historical European martial arts, that is an interesting concept because the angle of your sword does matter when you're striking your opponent, but this is not an enthralling concept in this kind of 2D game.
It looks like it's kind of got a bit of a Nidhogg thing going on, but without any of the charm or fluidity or fun. It mostly seems to be a game mostly revolving around deflecting enemy attacks. And ultimately failing to do so on many occasions.
Against a moose.
Indeed, against a moose in at least one instance, yes. That's a weird looking thing. Yeah.
Alright, well, next up is Quadrants. The year is 1979. A secret final lunar mission has retrieved hundreds of moon rocks carried out by order of the high-level overseers of the Arthur Research Facility. Overtaken by curiosity, researchers delve deeper and deeper into the unknown, only to find what we think we understand about the cosmos is... ... The
tagline could have been better.
Yeah. Basically, just goes on to the description of the game.
That sentence should have ended with, is terribly incorrect. If you go down to about this game, it finishes it down there.
Oh, yeah, they could have just...
They could have added 2 more words. I think there's a limit on what Steam's willing to display, I think, so they just cut off sentences.
Well, it left me in suspense anyway.
It's a game that looks pretty dated to begin with, about beating up aliens with a fire extinguisher, maybe? That's what I took from the trailer. There was beating some scuttling alien-looking things with a fire extinguisher. Well, it's survival horror, so I have zero interest in that.
I think I've got enough survival horrors to play through. I've had a hankering to play through Alien Isolation again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I still have yet to play through it. So.
Oh, it's so good. It left a gaping hole in my gaming heart to have to leave it. But you just can't play it again straight away because it just leaves you so empty at the end.
Feel empty inside.
Maybe you couldn't replace it with Quadrant and beat aliens to death with a fire extinguisher.
I'm not sure this is quite as compelling.
Okay, then.
Alright, next is Tabari and the Night of the Curious Moon.
Is that anime bullshit?
No, it's a side-scrolling platformer.
Anime side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah.
It looks mostly fairly uncompelling.
Mm.
And did they just use Comic Sans in the trailer? No, it's not. It's very similar. That would have been an instant 0 out of 10 if they dared to do that. I'll give them 1 out of 10 for using a very similar font.
Okay, Portal of Evil, Stolen Ruins Collector's Edition, which looks like a point-and-click, or rather, hidden object.
Yep, that is entirely a hidden object game, yep.
Looks like every other hidden object
Looks like
game.
every other hidden object game, yep.
Yeah.
They don't even change the style. There is only one style of hidden object game. They don't make any other style.
And I actually despair for the people who have to illustrate these backgrounds because they're actually really good, but they're going into hidden object game. So they will be vastly underappreciated.
Actually, I'm seeing some puzzle mechanics, and I think it's a bit more for Professor Layton kind of a film.
Oh, okay, well, still.
The two are kind of fusing together as a genre these days. Most of them kind of implement mechanics both.
I don't know, if you look back at like classic games, Shadowgate would have looked like a hidden object game.
I'm not familiar with that, so...
No, I don't think I played it.
Shadowgate?
No. Shadowgate, I don't know what that is.
It's one of the classic point-and-clicks.
Alright, I was going to say, I feel like the name vaguely rings a bell, but... Oh, it's a NES game now. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, they've re-released it on Steam. They've kind of upgraded everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I kept meaning to pick this up.
It's the exact same game that's on. There's some minor changes.
Yeah, because they kind of did the same thing as they did with Monkey Island. Just revamped all the graphics and stuff.
But anyway, it's not a new release.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, we've got...
But it does look like a hidden object.
Yeah. Okay, Guilty Gear XX Ascent Core Plus again. And next is Ronin. Ronin is a stylish turn-based action platformer following the exploits of a vengeful heroine determined to strike down 5 prominent figures of a powerful corporation.
Release date soon-ish.
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 Well done.
Looks like a kind of take on Gunpoint.
I was thinking I was getting a Gunpoint vibe from it, yeah. Apparently turn-based, though. Gunpoint wasn't turn-based, was it?
No.
Although how this is turn-based, I'm not sure. It's kind of a strange
It
way
doesn't
to do
look
turn-based.
turn-based.
Definitely
No,
looks
it really
interesting.
doesn't.
No, I wouldn't mind checking that out. That looks pretty interesting. But it's not out this week, it is out soonish.
Alright, Games of Glory. We already covered this, did we?
No, I mentioned this briefly. Well, firstly, this is early access, and normally we wouldn't bother with early access. Secondly, it doesn't actually have a release date, and I wouldn't normally bother with things that don't have a firm release date. But this is actually the MOBA I was going on about earlier. I checked my emails in the break, and this is the Super Monday Night Combat maybe kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a reason I left this open, and it's because I thought it actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, I really want to check this out, and I should really do that soon.
Okay, I'm totally adding that to my wish list. Alright, Cat's Lateral Damage.
Hooray! Lateral Damage. I have this already. I need to play this. This actually, by the time this video goes out, this will be... I will hopefully have a video on this on my channel at 11 PM tonight. It's a game about being a cat and destroying shit because you're a cat and that's what cats do. Cats just fuck shit up. So, yeah, it's a cat simulator.
Alright. Fair enough. Rituals, next. 3D puzzle exploration adventure.
Okay. Looks like maybe, I don't know, what does... Looks like the sort of thing I could find potentially quite interesting.
I don't know what I'm looking at exactly.
I get the impression maybe it's like Cairo, but like less abstract. You can actually tell what you're looking at in most instances.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a very, very minimalist kind of thing. I think it's one of those things where you just sort of walk around the world and interact with things, and it opens doors and you move along and just sort of experience things. It's an artsy, pretentious indie game kind of thing, I think.
Alright.
Moving on?
Yeah. Carnivores, Dinosaur Hunter Reborn. One of the largest and most ferocious animals known to man. Yeah, I actually haven't played a decent dinosaur game since Turok. I hear they're planning to re-release another Turok in the near future.
Well, it does seem like, judging by a lot of the Steam releases over the last year or so, dinosaurs seem to be flavour of the month, so yeah.
Yeah, but none of them look good, and to be honest, this doesn't look any better.
No, it's cashing in. It's like, oh, everybody's sick of zombies. What can we do instead? Let's just replace the zombies with dinosaurs.
I like the thinking. That's good thinking, but
But
just do a better job. Yeah.
Nobody's managed to do it well with the zombies yet. So can we master the zombie thing first before we move on to the dinosaurs?
Like we really need any more zombie games ever.
We really don't. We have enough zombies to last us forever. I get the impression this is going to be another one of those open world survival things. I'm not sure whether it is or not.
Just give me more Turok. I will happily take more Turok.
Okay, yeah, a huge 3D free roaming open world. It's open world survival with dinosaurs. Although, interestingly, the one thing that I would say differentiates this from everything else is that it doesn't say early access.
Oh, well done.
This is apparently, a full game that's actually finished.
Well done to you guys.
Whether that makes it any good or not remains to be seen, but hey.
Alright, next is Locoland.
Is what now? I'm not seeing the same things you are.
No?
Oh. Okay, Locoland, yes, I see where you are.
Crazy, colourful world of fantastic stuff. Bizarre, strange. Don't know.
I don't know what we're looking at here.
No.
It says it's a strategy thing. It looks really super casual, though. Like mega casual.
Yeah.
This should be on Facebook. It probably is on Facebook. Something about maneuvering trains around tracks across a colourful landscape. I don't know what we're looking at, though, like, at all.
Anyway.
Moving on.
Flame Over.
Flame Over. The top-down squirt-em-up action and pie-rogue-like game mechanics. Lol. This is a top-down shoot about fire extinguisher, extinguishing fires with a hose, I guess. Looks... It's been tagged as difficult. It doesn't look like it's a particularly challenging game. I suppose it could be deceptive, but it seems like it's a fairly casual kind of affair. I don't know. And they're launching it with a 40% discount. Clearly they have no faith in the game.
Alright, well we got Homesick next, which is an explorer indie kind of adventure title. With puzzles.
I was going to say, I feel like I've heard people talk about this one before. I'll tell you what, no, this was at PAX East this year. That's where I've heard of it, and I didn't play it, so I don't remember. I don't know much about it.
Well, shame on you.
Well, indeed.
These textures are beautiful.
I'll say, I did hear a lot of people say a lot of good things about it. So I
like the look of this, but again, it reminds me of Leviathan, and that was so short. It was far too short.
I can't remember what you thought of that. Was that any good, or was it just the length?
It was a lovely environment to walk through. You can really interact with a whole bunch of stuff. You just essentially did walk through a very subtle narrative. I think you were in some kind of in the mind of somebody who'd had an accident.
Right. I mean, actually, looking at this, I'm getting kind of a Myst vibe from it.
Yeah.
So, kind of the first-person exploration, but puzzles kind of thing. I don't know.
I like these games, but I find they're often very short.
Yeah.
I really want to try it, but I've been stung by this before. They're expensive for what they are, because I imagine a lot of work goes into these textures.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is weighing up whether it's worth it. I'll wait for reviews. Yeah.
That's what reviews are for.
I should do that, really, instead of jumping the gun all the time.
Yep.
Throwing my money away.
Indeed.
Alright, well, we have Airport Madness World Edition.
Sounds thrilling. What can you tell about Airport Madness?
Insanely addictive, easy to learn, impossible to master. Airport Madness is an airport strategy game designed in real air traffic controls.
It captures the fun aspects of air traffic control.
Oh, wow, goody.
The decisions and actions you make in this game are identical to real-world airport ops.
I'm sure they are. It's not complicated to traffic airplanes at all.
Indeed. That seems like that's a niche appeal kind of thing. Maybe. It's not made by a German company, though, so that's something. Normally these kind of simulators invariably a German audience. For whatever strange reason.
It doesn't look quite as good as theirs.
No, it's just a basic top-down click on the interface kind of deal. You don't get to drive any low-poly vehicles around a low-poly environment.
Yeah, you don't get to drive the trucks around the aeroplanes.
No. And put the fires out on the airplanes.
Oh, dear. Alright, Chips Challenge 1.
And indeed Chips Challenge 2.
Oh? Oh, yes, I've just seen after it. Why are they... I played this before.
I played this in primary school.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking this is
on
from.
This was on the computers we had at primary school.
Oh my god, now I remember. With the different coloured keys.
Yep.
Oh, this is brilliant.
I think I tried playing something very similar to it that was very like Chip Challenge not so long ago, and I realised I remember playing a lot of it in school. I really just don't have the patience to bother with this anymore.
Oh, but it's got Go Faster stripes.
It does have many Go Faster stripes.
Oh, I'm so nostalgic.
Yep,
Oh,
that is a puzzle game, an ancient puzzle game.
I think I need this. Just to fulfill my childhood.
Well, there you go. You can indulge.
I will. Oh.
Twice over in both games.
It will fill an empty hole in my heart.
At least on my screen, nestling between them is an early access thing, but I kind of wanted to poke at it.
Oh, go on.
A home improvisation.
Let's have a look.
Which is the IKEA simulator, which I covered on my channel a while back on Indie Insight. Which is it's YouTube bait of the highest order, I admit, but it's pretty entertainingly fun. They originally just did it as a browser-based Unity thing, but it had 4-player controller support as well, and it was like, how the heck did we manage that? Yeah, so it's 4-player derping about trying to assemble flat-pack furniture with Surgeon Simulator kind of controls.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And basically, you put together the furniture. Once you've assembled it, it gives you more furniture to assemble, and then more, and then more, and more, and more. And you just end up with lots and lots of bits, and you can just put the bits together. Any part will connect to any other part of any other thing. So you just keep
like the sound of
that. So you can just make monstrous creations. The version I played wouldn't let you undo anything as well when you originally put things together. So, yeah, if you didn't like how something worked, tough luck.
Much like real life.
Well, normally with a bit of brute force you can take it out. Now they have added a hammer to the game, so anything that has been attached to anything else, you can now knock it apart with a hammer again.
Brute force and ignorance.
They seem to have, looking at the trailer, it seems like they've added a bunch of other tools that add like joints to anything you want, I think.
Okay.
So you could just start attaching furniture to like the sofa.
Well, I always wanted more chair on my sofa.
What I will note is they have changed the logo since I last played. Last time it was a direct rip-off of the IKEA logo, and I'm wondering if maybe they got a letter from IKEA. It doesn't look like the IKEA logo anymore.
Did the IKEA letter come with a small Allen key?
It must have done, and some balls.
Yep.
Alright, moving on.
Subject 13. Play as Franklin Fargo, a quiet physics professor who has led a bitter existence ever since his fiancée died in a hold-up in which he was supposed to be the victim. Sorry, I can't read today.
Okay, sounds artsy-fartsy. Is this another walk around the world? Oh wait, is this? I was going to say this looked like another one of those walk around the world and explore and solve the mysteries thing, but actually...
This is kind of a puzzle
puzzly thing.
Thingy dimension with lasers and stuff, and Indiana Jones bridges.
Can I please note at this stage, I just thought I'd make the observation, we seem to have lost Alzorath.
Oh dear.
He disappeared without a trace or a word at some stage. I thought he was being quiet, and I just looked across and suddenly it's like, no, there's only us two talking here, so, okay.
Oh well.
I don't. He could have at least said his goodbyes. Either that or his internet's playing up. It could be one or the other.
I imagine it is. We shall carry on regardless.
Yes, indeed. Next up?
Traverser. The sun is dead. Mankind has fled underground. In the two-sided city of Brimstone, the all-seeing Raven Corporation controls our most precious resource ever, breathable air. It now falls to the guard in training, Valerie, to infiltrate the company, reveal its secrets, and uncover years of lies and propaganda.
Is this a point-and-click adventure? It looks a lot like one.
Is it?
I thought so.
I think there's puzzle elements here and there. You're picking up barrels with lasers.
Oh yeah, as well says it's a stealth puzzle game. Okay. And the screenshots do not immediately make it obvious there's particularly stealth elements, but okay.
No.
Potentially interesting.
Maybe.
Anyway, let's try and get through these. We've got a few more to go. Let's pick up the pace.
Serpent in the Strangelands. I think we've done that one already. Have we?
Staglands. You said Strangelands.
Yeah, I have as well. God damn it. Anyway, all right. Armed with Wings, Rearmed. That's early access. Why is that in there?
Don't know. Don't need that in our lives.
No. Crash Drive 2, rather.
Also, no hard release date. Just May.
Yeah. Casual Racing. And Toy Wars Invasion.
Which is... Good lord, what the heck is this?
What kind of racer?
It's another kart... Yeah. It's a weird sort of toy box kart racer thing, which... I already played a game exactly like that last year, and it looked a bit better than this does.
Fair enough. Well, Star Horizon.
Horizon?
Yeah, experience fast action, thrilling levels, spectacular explosions, and lots of pew pew pew. So yeah, if you like pew, it's good.
It is an on-rails space shooter. Don't feel like I've seen anything like that in a while. That sounds like it's a Star Foxy kind of thing, I guess.
I do like that. Maybe one to keep an eye on.
It does look quite pretty, actually. Cool.
Intergalactic Bubbles.
Yeah, I like the name. What is it?
It looks like marbles.
It's what's it called? You shoot the bubbles up, and then the balls pop each other.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
Bubble, is it? Is that the one?
I don't know.
Kind of 3D puzzle bubble, whatever the heck it's called. The thing with the bubbles. It's that. Which is a shame, because Intergalactic Bubbles had me hopeful that might be more interesting than that. Nope.
Pillar, which is a top-down indie adventure with something else that I don't quite understand in it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is this puzzles? Oh, it's a collection of mini games. I don't know what that is. That sounds like a strange kind of thing.
That's not selling me on the screenshots, at least.
No, doesn't look the most compelling of things.
Well, Horizon Shift.
Horizon Shift is an explosive wave-based single-screen shooter with a ton of new ideas and platformer elements. That looks horrible.
Again, I just don't know what I'm looking at.
It looks like some brutal hardcore rage type thing.
No, it doesn't look nice at all.
It looks like something Jeff Minter might make, actually. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if it was. No, it's not. But okay.
Well, next is The Silent Age. Lose yourself in the Silent Age, the thrilling point-and-click adventure.
Over 7 million mobile downloads. It's revamped and updated for PC.
So this is a mobile game, right?
Apparently so, yes.
Okay.
Presumably it must have been a free one if they've got 7 million downloads. I can't imagine getting it. I think you'd be hard-pressed to get 7 million people to part with money on mobile. I don't think even Minecraft manages that.
Okay. Duck Game.
Oh, Duck Game.
You know about Duck Game?
I know about Duck Game. It's a 4-player arena-y, shootery thingy. There is, again, it's not a hard release date thing, but I know it's in beta at the minute. Fixer keeps going on about it quite a lot. It looks like it's a fun little multiplayer kind of affair. It's by Adult Swim. It's bound to be completely silly and strange.
Okay, well,
yeah.
I do tend to enjoy some Adult Swim games.
They do some pretty good stuff.
Robot Unicorn Attack being the best ever.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Absolute Drift.
Q2 2015. So, God knows when that's out.
Fair enough.
Some point before the end of June. The Fruit of Grisaya, we already looked at that one, didn't we? Tiamat X. 6 levels of intense shooting action.
Whoa, slow down. Only 6.
It's a side-scrolling shooter, a retro-looking side-scrolling shooter. and it doesn't look like it does anything particularly different to any other side-scrolling shooter that has been released in the last 30 years.
No.
Moving on, we got Gaocow.love.100 days.
Take a wild guess.
That's anime bullshit! You need to get a girlfriend before the National College entrance exam. It's crazy, but from today we'll face everything together, apparently.
Good luck with that.
That's not Sekai Project, so it might not be porn, but I don't know. If it's Sekai Project, I'm fairly confident to say it's probably porn. But it's not.
No,
Okay.
I hope this isn't.
And Gynophobia
That's early
is
access.
early access, so we're actually at the end. That's it. That's your
Yeah,
last
we
one.
don't need
We're
to
gonna-
talk about that because that's
Nope.
just awful.
No, we can just talk. We can just end on anime bullshit. That's a good way to end the week.
Yeah.
Alrighty, since Alzorath is not here to do his promotional thing, I will tell you to go to his channel, which might be youtube.com/Alzorath. Indeed it is, yes. Go to.
Yes.
I'm always concerned, it's like, is it that or have they got something that's slightly different? No, it is youtube.com/Alzorath. I don't know what he's doing this week. Probably the usual things. It'll probably be Shadow Era. I know he's doing City Skylines at the minute. I don't know his schedule as well as he knows his schedule, so he should really be here to tell us these things. So, yeah, Shadow Era and City Skylines is all I can tell you he'll be doing. As for us, Button Mash is this Saturday, like the Button Mash, the original, the one and only, Button Mash 11. Once again, I will say we might try to get some sort of live stream for that. I would love to do that one day, but whether the venue itself has actually any kind of adequate internet installed or not remains to be seen. Anyway, if you are in the Bradford or West Yorkshire kind of area, definitely come down and check that out. Go to facebook.com/buttonmash to go find out all the details there. We've got an event page, and you'll be able to find out about the details of the event there. And come down and join us. It's pay what you want to get in, so come enjoy that. Otherwise, you can find us on Twitter, twitter.com/button_mash_UK. You can find our Steam curation at bit.ly/bmsteam. You can find my personal Patreon page where you can give me money on a monthly basis in order to buy your way into getting some extra video content every week at patreon.com/buttonmash. And I'm sure I must have missed something. Have I missed something?
No, it might feel like you missed something because we've moved channels.
Our official website is button-mash.net, but there's not a lot there. That'll probably just about do it. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Well, not that there was much to watch. Thank you very much for listening. On behalf of Will.
Thank you.
On behalf of the now absent Alzorath, and on behalf of me, thank you for listening. We really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
Jerry, bye.